For thousands of years, the pyramids have stood tall in the desert. No one knows exactly how they were built. Some say it was a super technique, others believe in an extraterrestrial force, but all theories have fallen into a deadlock before the terrifying precision of this construction. What's even more frightening is that scientists have spent years trying to understand it. Watch this video to understand why the pyramid construction technique remains a mystery. Khafre Pyramid and the Great Pyramid. Although it is the second largest pyramid of ancient Egypt, the Khafre Pyramid is less explored. The main reason lies in its chaotic stone core, which makes structural analysis challenging. In contrast, the Great Pyramid is a favored site among explorers and researchers. With its flat surface, they can easily climb and measure each layer of stone, leading to surprising results, such as how the layers gradually thin as they ascend, only to occasionally transition to unexpectedly thick layers. Some unusual layers, like the 35th, align with the ceiling of the Queen's chamber. This is not merely coincidental. It provides clues about the structure hidden deep within the pyramid. At the Khafre Pyramid, the disarray of stone blocks leaves the original number of layers a mystery. The apex is the only area still intact enough for measurement, but the treacherous terrain has hindered all attempts to access it. Meanwhile, the Great Pyramid is much more accessible, allowing researchers to document details continuously. At the top of Khafre, the slanting casing stones seem poised to collapse under an earthquake, while the structure of the Great Pyramid remains steadfast, defying time and natural disasters. To protect Khafre, the Egyptian Antiquities Ministry has installed modern square supports beneath the protruding stone blocks, along with new stones in the northeast corner, likely to assist workers during repairs. In contrast, the Great Pyramid, with its more robust structure, rarely requires such interventions. Recently, drones have been employed to observe the top of Khafre. The images captured show that this area remains nearly intact after thousands of years in a harsh environment, which is truly astonishing. The Great Pyramid, despite being extensively studied for decades, continues to amaze with details yet to be unraveled. Both structures, with their unique beauty and mysteries, seem to transport us back to the dazzling golden age of ancient civilization. Survey of the West Face. To begin this survey, let's start with the west face. From these drone images, what do you think? This angle provides the clearest observation. However, it is also where the casing stones are most heavily damaged. Can you accurately distinguish between the original joints and the current cracks and damage? Let's continue to analyze. First, we have approximately 30% of the casing stone remaining on the upper part, from the 5th row down to the 47th row, marked by the rows of stone that are better preserved above. We can see that the stones at the top have a relatively uniform height, around 1 cubit, approximately 52.5 centimeters. When observing the west face of the pyramid, we can see that the large stones at the corners are arranged in an alternating pattern. One long edge of the stone lies on one face, while its short edge lies on the adjacent face. This arrangement appears to be consistently repeated at the corners across all 4 faces of the pyramid. However, what the detailed survey of the west face unexpectedly reveals is the absence of any clear pattern. Aside from the cornerstones adhering to the familiar alternating rule, the remainder of the casing stone seems to lack a specific order. Despite careful observation, only a few faint signs are noted. For example, there is a tendency for longer stones to appear near the corners, particularly in the upper 25 rows. Additionally, the number of stones in each row does not follow a fixed rule. Sometimes, a higher row contains more stones than a lower one, and most rows are roughly equivalent in quantity. The lack of a clear architectural pattern on the west face does not diminish the value of the survey. On the contrary, it highlights the potential complexity in the construction methods or the extent of damage that has obscured the original rules. This is just the beginning of exploring the mysteries of Khafre, laying the groundwork for analyzing the remaining faces, where more significant clues await unraveling. What do you find strangest on the west side of the pyramid? Choose one of the following answers and leave your comment below. A. Cornerstones are arranged very evenly. B. The stones on top are evenly spaced. C. There is no clear pattern to the stones. D. The top row has fewer stones than the bottom row. Survey of the south face. Next is the south face. Some joints here are significantly wider than usual. Initially, one might think this is due to earthquakes, but the corners of the pyramid show no displacement. Many adjacent areas might be mistaken for broken ends of long stones, but they are actually separate thin layers of masonry. The large gaps near the apex could be part of the original design, filled with mortar or thin limestone. The upper section lacks precisely cut stones, or if they do exist, they cannot be placed without leaving gaps on either side. The finishing layer in this area is rougher and not visible from the base of the pyramid, reinforcing the possibility that the pyramids from the 4th dynasty may not have been decorated. The south face, like the west face, shows that longer stones are concentrated in the upper rows, while rows 13 to 25 have shorter stones in the center compared to those near the corners. Rows 46 and 47, near the base, are so well preserved that they may obscure the joints between the largest stones. The distribution of slender stones on each face is quite similar, but the south face stands out. The slender stones tend to lean towards the southwest corner. Exceptions are rare and usually found in clusters with more than one stone of this type. When removing the exceptions, the pattern becomes clearer. The south face also has the largest gaps between the stones at the higher levels, indicating that working conditions here were more restricted. All these factors suggest that the southwest corner could have been the location of the construction ramp based on the arrangement of the stones. This coincides with the pattern noted at the Great Pyramid, where an external ramp segment ends at the southwest corner. Despite varying observation heights, the south face remains the most likely area ever used as a construction entrance. Survey of the north face. The north face of the pyramid reveals a particularly impressive structure. Although the imaging data below row 43 is not clear, the remaining sections show very good preservation. The upper rows, while heavily damaged, exhibit a clear pattern from rows 15 to 29. Long stones are placed at the corners alongside an adjacent stone. In the center, medium-sized stones, almost uniform in size, are stacked in an interlocking pattern. Connecting the center to the cornerstones are the smallest stones, which are tapered, with the bottom shorter than the top. This pattern is so stable that it cannot be random. It may be a key clue leading to the decoding of the pyramid's construction techniques. The long cornerstones are always placed in front, which may help control the accuracy of the corners and enhance stability. The central section is then filled in. Since the rows at this height are quite short, there isn't much room to conceal the pattern. The connecting stones between the center and the corners are smaller, tapering down, with shorter bottoms. This shape may indicate how they were positioned. A small stone, unable to slide sideways, could be lowered from above. Once aligned, the tapered edge would be the last part to be processed, allowing the stone to fit perfectly into place. Could this be evidence of a sophisticated construction process that we have yet to fully understand? The block mapping data clearly shows that this is not mere speculation, but a definitive indication that this technique was indeed employed. Survey of the east face. The east face of the Khafre pyramid, although less thoroughly studied than the other faces, still contains many notable features. Existing data suggests that the distribution of stones on this face may follow certain patterns, similar to those on the other sides of the pyramid. Some studies indicate that the stones on the east face are fairly evenly distributed, with larger stones at the bottom and gradually smaller ones as the height increases. This reflects the sophisticated construction techniques of the ancient Egyptians, aimed at ensuring stability and durability for the structure. However, due to limitations in data and research, many details about the east face remain unexplored. Are there any special arrangement patterns yet to be discovered, or have unique construction techniques been applied specifically to this face? If you have observations, analyses, or hypotheses about the east face of the Khafre pyramid, please share them in the comments. Each of your responses will help illuminate a part of the mysteries of the pyramid. Construction ramp. After analyzing the outer faces of the pyramid, a significant question arises. How were the massive stones weighing tons lifted to the top? Using a gentle ramp around the pyramid proved impractical, as it would require almost as much material and manpower as the pyramid itself. Instead, a shorter but steeper ramp, 1-to-2 ratio, would save considerable labor and time. To aid movement, steps, ropes, and lubricated logs could be placed on both sides to reduce friction. Gravity-driven pull-down from the opposite side could also increase efficiency considerably. It is estimated that only 1,200 men would be needed to pull an 80-ton block up the ramp. This ramp could be integrated into the pyramid, gradually covered during construction, and reinforced with arched beams or simple horizontal linings. This approach would not only save material, but also shorten the construction time. The Queen's Chamber could be completed in 2 years instead of 8. The King's Chamber in 5 years instead of 13. The ramps also allowed the stones to be moved between the steps by rocking and jacking, like a seesaw, eliminating the need for multiple ropes. Another advantage was the flexibility in deciding the final size of the pyramid. If the king died prematurely or lacked resources, the construction could stop at any stage and still be complete. The internal ramp model allowed up to 80% of the structure to be completed before the core needed to be sealed. At the same time, the interior structures could be completed in parallel with the exterior, maximizing efficiency in terms of progress and manpower. The transportation of materials could also be combined with a canal system, which would bring stones from the Nile to the base of the structure without requiring too many people. This overall model not only explains how the materials were lifted, but also why the pyramids could be built so quickly and accurately. Hypothesis about the V-shapes. The famous V-shapes on the north face of the Great Pyramid have long been a subject of debate. One hypothesis suggests that they mark the entrance to an internal ramp used during construction. Based on the position of the V-shapes, this entrance could be situated at a height of approximately 16 meters above the ground. From there, a ramp with a 1/2 slope could lead straight up to a height of 85 meters, then turn to reach a total height of 115 meters, just 30 meters from the apex. After the pyramid was completed, this entrance was sealed, leaving only the descending passage visible. Some believe the V-shapes were constructed to reinforce a narrow tunnel. However, with a width of only about 1 meter, such a tunnel would not require such large beams. Therefore, it is highly likely that the V-shapes once supported a wider opening, sufficient to allow materials to be brought inside during construction. Today, with the outer layer of white limestone gone, structures like the V-shapes are more easily observed. The fact that the V-shapes are offset approximately 7 meters from the main axis is also noteworthy. A ramp model with an internal turnaround could explain this offset, as it would be necessary to balance the structure above. Thank you for watching this video about the construction of Khafre's pyramid. There are still many mysteries to discover. If you love interesting content like this, please like and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's explore more about the wonders of ancient civilizations together. See you in the next videos.